Election process in India. In yesterday, in yesterday's class, we have learned some about it. So let's recall those points what we discussed there. In a democratic nation, elections are very essential. So for conducting elections, we have Election Commission of India, and this is a constitutional body. Which one? Election Commission of India. It started on 25th January 1950. It conducts elections to the Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, state legislative bodies, and president, vice president. Election Commission does not have its own staff. As per Article 324, subsection of 6, there the Constitution, that is, as per the Article 324, section 6 of the Constitution, Election Commission, that is the Central Election Commission at national level. It has given authority to use government employees relating to the states and central with the permission of the president. Today, to conduct elections, Election Commission, in short EC, need 45 lakh staff. 45 lakh staff is needed. And in Election Commission, we find the leader, who is called Chief Election Commissioner, who is the head of the Election Commission of India. So Chief Election Commissioner conducts elections for central and state legislatures. This person, Chief Election Commissioner, is from Indian Civil Services. He works in that post, that is the Chief Election Commissioner, for a period of 6 years or up to the age of 65 years, whichever is earlier. And Chief Election Commissioner was the only person earlier we found in a Election Commission of India. From 1993 onwards, we find 3 members in Election Commission of India. At present, we find 3 members in Election Commission of India. One is Chief Election Commissioner, and remaining 2 are called Election Commissioners. The head of the Election Commission is called Chief Election Commissioner, and remaining 2 are called Election Commissioners. And these people, that is Election Commissioners and Chief Election Commissioner, they have the same privileges in their work. Their duties their designation, their power, and their salaries, everything is similar. That means Chief Election Commissioner is the head of the Election Commission. Whatever the privileges he enjoy and the powers he enjoy, same powers and privileges are enjoyed by election commissioners, those who are two in what to call election commission. Then we have seen that their T and session have given certain recommendations to avoid the corruption. And today we will learn about the functions of election commission. Under part 15 of the constitution, from article 324 to 329, we find functions of the election commission. There are three types of functions to the election commission. The functions of election commission are classified into three: administrative functions, advisory functions, quasi judicial function. So these are the three functions election commission discharges. Let us see that what are these functions in detail. Here, under administrative functions of the election commission prepares electoral rolls. What is electoral rolls? It is the body of the voters we call electorate. Every year we see many people are crossing the age of 18. Then their name should be enrolled into the body of voters, that what we call electorate. So every time electoral rolls have to be revised, right? That is the function of the election commission. Understand? Here we see earlier people who crossed 21 years of age are eligible to become voter. It was a time that those who crossed 21 years of age, they become eligible for a vote, getting right to vote. After 1988, with the 61st constitutional amendment, the right to get vote, the age required to get right to vote, reduced from 21 years to 18 years. At present, whoever crosses 18 years of age, they have to enroll their name with the EC, that is Election Commission. They have to register their name. Okay. So what we see here, every year by January, we find many are crossing the age of 18, and they should be given right to vote. So it is the function of the election commission to prepare electoral rolls and revise these electoral rolls from time to time. That is one of the functions under administrative functions. Second is it decides the boundary of constituencies. For conducting elections, the territories in India should be divided into the constituencies. Constituency is a region demarcated by the Election Commission. For example, Karimnagar is a constituency, right? Then what is the area under the jurisdiction of a Karimnagar constituency? We find number of constituencies for conducting the elections. So there may be clash between the boundary of one constituency with another constituency. So which are up to which of the area is to be considered a constituency is decided by Election Commission. It means Election Commission decides the boundary of the constituencies with the help of a delimitation commission. Delimitation commission decides the demarcation, the boundary, demarcation in the sense boundary, demarcation of the constituencies. So for conducting elections, all the territories in India are divided into the constituencies with the help of a delimitation commission, right? Which one? Delimitation commission. And at the time of elections, third function of the Election Commission under administrative functions. Okay, at the time of elections, it announces the schedule for elections. Recently we have seen Dubbaka election, by election, right? So date is announced by EC. Now GHMC elections are there, and what is the date, how the schedule, everything is announced by the EC. So here Election Commission, for conducting elections, it announces the schedule. As according to the schedule, it receives nominations. Candidates who want to stand in election, they have to give nominations to the EC. So it receives the nominations from the contesting candidates. Then after, it scrutinizes the nominations given by the contesting candidates. What is meant by scrutinizes? It is to decide whether the nominations of the contesting candidates are fair, whatever the information they submitted at the time of nomination is right or wrong. That what we call scrutinize. So Election Commission scrutinizes the nominations, then it prepares a final list of the nominated candidates, that is called finalization. Okay, then after, it announces the polling dates, okay, and gives recognition to the political parties. See, some of the candidates who want to start their political career, they have to come with a political party. Understand? So if a person establish a party, for that party recognition is given by the Election Commission. Suppose one candidate want to establish a new political party, then he has to register his party with EC. Before registering his party, he has to prepare the code for his party. That means agenda, manifestation, what that party is going to do for the people. That what we call code. Understand? That is called manifestation. So with that manifestation, it has to register with the election commission. Then election commission gives what you call a symbol for the political parties. Understand? Right? For example, TRS party is given car symbol. Indian National Congress is given a hand symbol. BJP is given a lotus. So political parties are to be registered with the EC. So election commission gives recognition to the political parties and alerts the symbols to the political parties. It also prepares the code of conduct. That means rules and regulations to be followed by the political parties during the election is called code of conduct. So certain guidelines, rules and regulations are prepared by the EC during the elections is called code of conduct. So preparing the code of conduct also one of the functions of the election commission, and it also appoints an inquiry officer to identify any electoral malpractices are taking place. What is a malpractice here? We will discuss this point later, but just I want to give the definition. The code of conduct, which is framed by the election commission, when it is violated, then it is called malpractices. For example, in code of conduct, contesting candidates are not allowed to give liquor and money to voters to attract them. That should not be that means giving money and liquor is not allowed. It's a principle, it's a rule in code of conduct. So if the candidate distributes liquor and money, it is the violation of the code of conduct, that what we call malpractices, right? So during the election time, contesting candidates may go for attracting the voters with different mechanisms, right? So to identify that, one inquiry officer is appointed by election commission to identify electoral malpractices during the election time. Okay, those all are administrative functions. Understand? Then the second type of function, that is advisory function. Whenever there is a dispute between two political parties, for example, two parties have come front on a dispute, and for that dispute, what kind of a dispute we find between the parties? It is the election dispute. Understand? Maybe one candidate have gone for malpractices, okay, and he succeeded getting a majority of the votes, right? That may be challenged by another political party, and that becomes a dispute. So such disputes between political parties are given solution by the Election Commission, that is advises. Understand? It also advises the president and the governors of the states about the disqualification of the representatives who are elected to the parliament and to the state legislatures. Okay. Some candidates may come into the parliament though they do not have right qualification. So it should be disqualified. So what steps to be taken to reject such representatives? Then their advice is essential. So advice is given to the president and the governors. At that time, it acts like a judicial authority. Who gives advice to president and governors? It is the judicial department. So EC acts like a judicial authority, like a judiciary. Not a complete judicial authority is given for EC. In that situation, it acts like a judicial department. So it is called a quasi judicial authority. What we call quasi judicial authority instead, as it is giving advice to president and to the governors of the state. Okay. So the Election Commission of India gives guidelines every time during the election. So here, Election Commission of India issues guidelines for the people to enroll their name in a electoral roll after crossing the age of 18. Every year by 1st January, irrespective of the caste, creed, religion, gender, language, whatever the language is spoken by people, whether it's male, female, or transgender, understand? Whether he belongs to Sikh, Islam, or Hinduism, whether they belongs to upper class, lower class, irrespective of all these differences, right to vote is given to all people who crossed 18 years of age. That what we call here universal adult franchise. What we call universal adult franchise. Understand? So right to vote is given to all irrespective of the caste, creed, religion, gender, language. So when right to vote is given to all, what we call it is a political equality. Everybody is given equal opportunity by granting right to vote to all the people. So there is a political equality in India. How do we say that a political equality is there? Because everybody who crossed 18 years of age given right to vote. Understand? So those who enrolls and registers their name with EC, they get voter card. Understand? They becomes eligible to cast their vote during the election. Right? So all these voters we find at the time of election. So here there will be a list of voters prepared by EC that is called electorate. Understand? The body of voters is called electorate. Understand? We find electorate prepared by the election commission. Understand? Every time this electorate is revised because new persons who crossed 18 years will enter into this electorate. Understand? Then what is the role here? The political parties. Understand? Political party has to be formed with a written code of conduct. Understand? Every political party comes forward to register with EC with a written code of conduct. Understand? What is a code of conduct written by political party? It is their agenda. Understand? What is my agenda? What they are going to do for the people, to which of the ideals they stand, right? Do they stand for the public welfare? And whatever they write in code of conduct, that should be filled by that political party. So any party can register with EC, understand, with a written code of conduct, and that political party will be allotted symbols which are there with the election commission, and these parties are declared by election commission as regional parties or national parties. Regional parties are also called state parties. TRS is a state party. TDP is a state party. Congress is a national party. BJP is a national party. Right? Then what is the criteria to decide this is the party called regional party or state party and national party? Understand? Let us see here. Understand? A party in a state, a party gets 3% of valid votes. See, their 70% votes are casted in election. Those are valid votes. In that, if any party gets 3%, or if it gets 3 assembly seats in overall assembly seats, it is to be declared as a state party or regional party. For example, in Telangana Assembly, in our state legislative assembly, 119 assembly seats are there. Understand? How much? 119. In this 119, if any party gets 3 assembly seats, then it is to be declared as a state party or a regional party. Instead, regional party is the name given to the state party instead, as it got 3 assembly seats instead. And a party can be recognized as a state party more than one state. Understand? So, which is called national party? Next here, a party which gets recognition in 4 states. How many states? In 4 states as a state party with 6% of valid votes. In 4 states, when a party is recognized with 6% of valid votes as a state party, or if it secures 11 Lok Sabha MP seats in 4 different states, it is called a national party. That means, see, Congress, for example, Congress have secured 11 Lok Sabha or MP seats in Telangana, some 4, in Andhra Pradesh, some 4. Okay, it become 8. Understand? And 3 in Madhya Pradesh. then it is to be recognized as a national party. Understand? So this is the difference between national party and a state party. Understand? So in this way, we find many are national parties and state parties, right? So here, this is what you call a difference between these what you call a state party and national party. So Congress is a national party, BJP is a national party, understand? CPI is a national party, like this. In every state we find state parties. National parties contest in all the states, understand? And here, during the election time, election commission announces the schedule of election. At that time, it prepares what you call the code of conduct. Election commission announces the code of conduct. That means certain rules and regulations are given by the EC, and these rules and regulations all together we call code of conduct. This code of conduct has to be followed by all the people and candidates contesting in the elections. The rules and regulations given by the election commission collectively called code of conduct. It has to be followed by everyone. Violation to these rules and regulation is treated as a malpractice. Okay, what we call it is malpractice. What is my malpractice? Violation of rules and regulations of the EC or violation to the code of conduct is called malpractice. Those who violates this code of conduct, on them election commission takes a disciplinary action.